So, Stephen, what device can't you live without?
My iPhone.
What app, service or device do you wish had never been invented?
The camera on a phone. Because of the arrival of the selfie. If you're stopped in the street and one group of people want selfies and then another group sees it going on and you can be 40 minutes late for a meeting, I'm not kidding you. And you can't, once you've said yes, you can't really say no.
Who should we be following on Twitter but probably aren't?
I would say this because he's my best friend, but he's absolutely brilliantly funny, and that's Hugh Laurie. Frankly, I shouldn't be mentioning him at all because he once sat me down and gave me a long, stern talking to as to why I shouldn't be on Twitter and why Twitter was the end of civilization. And then very ruefully and embarrassedly about a year ago, he started his own Twitter account. He's definitely worth following. Until he gets close to my number of followers, and then of course you must stop at once.
Of course. Would we have this Stephen today if teenage Stephen had had an iPhone or an Xbox?
That is a really, really good question, and it's one I ask myself, and I suspect not. I think I was made by certain sets of circumstance, one of which was the fact that I was a very poor sleeper as a teenager, and that we lived in the middle of the country, miles, as Sidney Smith once said, from the nearest lemon. And I had parents who were not particularly keen on television. So it all added up to me reading a lot. And I read and read and read and read and read. Once I discovered P.G. Wodehouse and Evelyn Waugh and writers like that sort of made my sort of target, well, this idea of what I wanted to do with language or what I enjoyed language and doing, and that's what got me into university, where I'd never have got there otherwise. I certainly got through to university through working hard, and then I would have never met Hugh, and I wouldn't have met Emma Thompson, and I think if I'd had an iPhone at school, I would have been a totally different figure. I hate to think.
Are you excited or afraid of the technological future?
Both. I'm worried about the power that insurance will have willy-nilly. It just is inevitable that with self-drive cars and our DNA being available to people, our lives will be determined by the amount of insurance that we pay for almost anything. And that's a bit of a shame. And as for the knowledge and power of big institutions and corporations and governments, that's very worrying. The other thing that's worrying, I think he wrote it in something like 1908, is a short story by E.M. Forster, which says it all. The machine stops. Everyone lives in little booths where they have music piped through to them. They can converse with people in other rooms and they don't even know where they are. It's amazing how much, how extraordinarily ahead of its time it is as a principle. And that's the fear. It could happen now, this minute, as we're speaking. Suddenly the whole internet stops.
So it sounds like more afraid than excited, perhaps.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we carry smartphones everywhere. A personal GPS beacon that makes it easier for people to know what you're up to, whether that's your mum, your partner, or your boss.